hit this thing. We will call the meeting to order at 2:35. A roll call, please, Mrs. Groom.
Mr. Connors,
Here.
Mr. Harshaw,
Here.
Ms. Barhu, Mr. George, Mr. Betts,
Here.
Chairman Bowler.
Here. There we go. Okay. Introduction of city staff. We have, of course, Miss Melissa Phillips, our development review technician. We have our deputy, well, now you're.
deputy.
Okay. Still deputy, soon to be head city attorney, Mr. Ben Gross, and.
I'd like to introduce you to
Yes.
David Russell. David's a new attorney in our office, but not new to the practice of law. He had his own firm along with a couple of other attorneys for many years. And he's a lot older than he looks, since I'm saying many years. But I have David here today because he's going to be transitioning into doing the land use and also these meetings. At some point, he'll start sitting here in my stead.
Okay, well, we're sad to be losing you, but we're happy to gain another friendly face. And congratulations to you. You weren't here when we said it last time. We said a lot of mean things behind your back, but we did say a couple nice things as well,
I expect that.
which was congratulations for the promotion.
And we had a cake. We had a
deserved.
cake and
Yeah,
everything,
but we ate it.
Thank you.
And of course, Mrs. Becky Groom, our board secretary, and our IT department hiding back there behind all the cool screens. Approval of the minutes, I think it was the May 18th meeting. Do we have any comments or changes?
I didn't see any, so I'll move to approve.
I had one just tiny thing. On page 3, I asked if there was the history of the property and if it had been permitted, and some of the structures weren't permitted, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the reason for it was because maybe permitting wasn't even required. And if we could just add something to that effect. Because I think that's why we didn't make a longer discussion about things not being permitted before they were built, which we don't like, so.
Yeah, because there was evidence that they had been there since before the 80s.
Right, okay.
Correct.
Okay. So with that, I have no more changes. Do we have a motion?
Approve as amended.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We do have a continued case. Mrs. Groom, if you could read that case into the record for us?
BOA 2023-007, variances from Article 4, Section 47U3, and Article 6, Section 63G6. A request by Wilfredo Guzman of Asbuilt, Florida, on behalf of Aaron Irenagert Zutage for variances from Article 4, Section 47U3 of the City of Daytona Beach Land Development Code, requirements for a single-family structure to decrease the required 5,000 square foot minimum lot area to 2,400 square feet, to decrease the required 10 feet minimum front yard setback to 6.6 feet, to decrease the required 5 feet minimum interior side yard setback to 2 feet, and to increase the maximum 35% accessory structure coverage in relation to the primary structure to 68%. The applicant also seeks variances from CODB Land Development Code Article 6, Section 63G6, requirements for a single-family structure use to decrease the required 12-foot minimum driveway width at point of entry to 9.8 feet, and to decrease the required 5-foot minimum driveway setback from the interior side property line to 1 foot. This approval will allow for the following structures installed, constructed on property without building permit submission or approval to remain as built. A 120 square foot addition to the existing non-conforming home, a 445 square foot detached partially enclosed carport, and an approximately 990 square foot concrete slab and driveway. This property is located at 542 Foot Court, parcel ID 533921010081.
Thank you, Mrs. Groom. If the applicant or representative can make their way up, as a refresher, this was a continuance of the March 16th meeting. We continued to the April meeting, but then I think the applicant was not able to make it, so we voted to continue to this meeting, so you would have an opportunity to discuss. And at that last meeting, we asked for a couple more descriptive drawings. We asked for something with that deck on, when you're looking at it on the right there, that enclosed deck. We asked for that fence in the backyard, a little more adjustments to that, and some things with the concrete and the carport. So if you could just refresh our memory as to kind of what you're looking to achieve, and then also what's maybe changed. And I want to say your drawings were really easy to understand for what we're talking about with the 3 changes. So
Yes.
thank you for submitting those.
Yeah, basically, we did the drawing,
Sorry, I'm sorry, your name and
My name.
address for the record.
Wilfredo Guzman, represent the Asbill, Florida. Oh, he's here, sorry. I did the drawing because you guys requested and explained what we want to do with this lot, because this lot you can see is very out of the the fence is something on the fence that we was looking. They already have it's spaced like 8 inches. We have to cut, the concrete to comply with the requirement. That's one. The fence, I was looking the fence personally, is aligned with the other fence.
Okay.
I know it in the survey showed this a little bit back, and that was something that, he can do it. He said he can move it, but he said, well, if the other people, they have the fence aligned with the entire perimeter, why I have to do it? It's something
Okay.
that's the only
Okay.
two things.
Okay. We can discuss that as a board a little further. I don't know, because I don't know where the lines are on the other properties. I assume that they're the same, but,
That fence is outside of his property boundary.
Yeah,
So
it's,
that's not something the board could approve.
no, I understand, but that was one of my point and his point. All the fences is aligned. We have to do
so you're saying all the fences, assuming the property lines are exactly equal along the back of that property,
They are,
which we don't really know, you're saying all the fences would then be outside of the
Outside.
border? Okay.
I bring this thing because usually I work a lot with a lot of surveyors. And lately I have a lot of problem with the surveyor because I don't know what's going on, or they don't go to the property, or they, because, for example, I have a project in Apoca. It's 57 acres. They went over there, they pay like $10,000 in the survey, and the survey is wrong. Because in the city, they show one line, on the survey is another one. Now, what we need to do is basically or go to the city and find out if they are okay, or go to the surveyor and find out, what's going on. But that's why, in this point, his fence with the other fence that they are in the correct location.
Okay. And I do agree with you that it has been happening a lot. I think there's probably a lot of, drive-by recertifications, and nobody's measuring things. So I think we were more concerned with some of the other areas,
Yes.
so maybe we can talk about some of those.
Okay.
And then the board will probably have some
no,
questions
so-
for you. So talk to us about what's coming out with the concrete, what's happening with the carport, and then that side area, the covered thing is leaving completely?
Basically, the concrete was done, of course, with perm. They built it, I don't know, if you bought the house with concrete. It's difficult here. Because a lot of people here in this city has, the lot is, do not comply with the some people, they do whatever they want. That's the problem. But in this particular concrete, if we do the variance, of course, he needs to cut the concrete just to comply with the requirement of the city setback and new one. The carport that was basically made, done,
Okay, maybe let's go one thing at a time. The concrete, what were you proposing in the revised application? That those concrete blocks on both sides of the driveway, you were going to remove all those?
yes.
Was that the
Well,
proposal?
they are loose. They are
Okay.
not fixed.
Okay.
Basically, you need to remove it and take it out.
Okay.
And it's gonna be clean. But that's, if you look in the house from the south to the north, south to the north, on the left-hand side is a space between the existing fence to the concrete, about 6 inches.
Okay.
It's not, but I think the variance is gonna be, how much? 8 feet or something like that.
Well, there needs to be typically at least 12 to 24 inches, typically.
Yeah, I think it's about 6 inches. I didn't measure, but I know he need to cut the concrete. Take it out to comply with, because you accept it here. Not, the other side basically is a lot of concrete blocks that he's gonna remove. That's what he's saying. It's okay.
Yeah, because I think one of the things we discussed last time was a lot of what was not, where there was not a structure, it was basically paved. And so we were kind of worried about, it being impervious or whatever, and being a lot of concrete and water runoff. And so your new proposal is that you're going to remove those 2 strips of concrete?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of just want to understand what your new proposal is, and so the board can have questions on those things and make a decision.
That's what I propose.
Okay.
Right now, I know they have a lot of concrete, and the other side of the concrete, they have concrete too. And I think the only way is to remove the concrete, to comply with 12 inches or 24 inches. Yes.
Okay. So are you talking about cutting out the concrete driveway, or are you talking about this area that's, it looks like there's just like little stones there? You're talking about removing those, right? Okay, okay, okay. And then the carport, is there anything changing with the carport?
The carport, if everything's good, built with the requirement of Florida building.
Okay, so you're going to bring, your proposal is to
Bring it
bring that up to code?
up.
Okay, okay. And then,
Sorry.
oh, go ahead, no, go ahead.
If you want to keep it, if you don't want to keep it, demolish.
Okay, okay. Okay. And then when you're looking at the property on the right side, is that covered porch? You're going to remove that entire thing?
Yes, he's
Okay.
willing to
Okay,
take it out.
okay, okay,
That was usually for
okay. Is there anything else that you want to say before we hear some questions from the board?
No.
Okay.
Really. You don't want to. Any question?
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have some questions and
I
comments.
have several,
Great, go ahead.
if you don't mind. With regard to taking that deck out on the east side,
Yes. On the
I'm
right
assuming,
side.
is there siding on the house existing, or did that change with the building?
Right.
The exterior siding is still there? Okay. With regard to the driveway, it looks as though it does slope to the west towards your neighbor's house?
Yes.
Okay.
Good was.
So all that water drains out that way, including whatever is on the roof? It drains down?
Carport.
Yeah, there's no gutter, so looks like the roof drains onto it. I'm concerned about how close it is to the property line and drainage running off onto the neighbors. Is that 1 foot area where the block will be removed? What'll go in that place of the block?
When you remove the,
When you remove that block along the fence,
Well-
along the driveway?
rain, rocks, dirt, and same way that was
Well,
before.
I was just gonna ask if it'll be filled in with gravel, will it be filled in with dirt? Will it be,
Well, that's, right now I
because we
can't,
wanna know how much, if it's gonna be gravel, maybe it can drain off before it goes
Exactly.
onto the neighbors.
I was thinking gravel, because dirt, that's, because right now, the problem is not only his property, it's the other property is bringing water to him.
Him too, yeah.
Because the other property has
Drains off onto that.
the same, basically the same
It's
issue.
so tight there.
Well, it's, you can knock the window from the other side.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
I think the only way that we can resolve it is gravel.
Gravel. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I think gravel is the right solution.
Mr. Betts, what about possibly a French drain?
Yes.
A French drain would be even better, if you can get it to go somewhere, like to the street or something.
In another project that we built, we had this problem. We have French drain and we do a cash basin,
Yes,
a big one, cash basin. And all the water go there, the water going out, pop up, go out. But that's helped a lot in another project that we
yeah, they make linear basins
Linear.
too.
Yeah, linear. Well, this one, for example,
Linear
I
drain.
do a lot of pavers. For example, in Winter Park. Winter Park is very strict. And when we do the pavers, we do the French drain with rocks, and we do the basin in one particular area, which means all the water inside of the property, no outside.
Right.
I'm fine if we could do a French drain there.
Okay.
Workable.
Perfect.
And then with regard to the fence in the back, I mean, we're here to solve problems for people, not create problems, leave problems and issues out there. And so when we have something we know is a problem that can be fixed pretty easily, this could be fixed pretty
Yes.
easily. And even though it doesn't match up, it is fixed for now and forever and onto the.
Yeah, that's basically what I told him.
And even the surveyor couldn't set pins there at the corners because the fence was in the way. So if it could be properly done, then the corners could be matched.
Thank you.
What is the total lot coverage? Is it, I'm assuming it met requirements because it's not part of the variance, but for the accessory structure, it's just for the accessory structure percentage?
They're increasing the accessory structure coverage from 35 to 68.
Right. But total square footage must be okay then. On lot coverage.
Yeah, that's a redevelopment district, so they're pretty liberal with their setbacks. Here it is.
Do you have more questions while
That's
she's
all I
looking that up? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I know I
No.
went through the whole design standard
Right.
table.
So-
I went through it point by point, and I got everything that they were.
They didn't, okay, that's
That
fine.
they
I just
didn't-
needed to know.
What's the redevelopment district?
It is RDM,
If the total lot-
RDM 1.
The total lot coverage is fine. I'm fine with it by having an increased car coverage.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, the property is so thin, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, it's like by far the skinniest out there. I'm not even sure how the structure could be less, you know?
I understand, no, but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is in terms of total square foot coverage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If it meets the total, I think I could survive the carport.
I'm looking at that in the code right now.
Yeah.
It's in four, you got it?
I, in looking at this picture, right, I'm just updating myself. You're talking about these blocks along that fence line that you're going to be removing?
The, next to the house, we have a bunch of blocks. They're gonna, the other side, they're gonna, whatever is approved, we have approval to comply, that's gonna be 12 inches, 18 inches. Whatever,
Lot coverage maximum 60%.
the slab, different.
This is, okay, so I'm clear. This side's where the French drain's going?
Yes.
Right? On this side, it looks like there's plants.
Plants and blocks,
Okay, but underneath that, then that is dirt.
Yet, because
Dirt.
they had to do an
Okay.
ordinance. Add single family to this district.
Madam Chair, Mr. Guzman, on both sides of the property, it looks like we've come all the way out with concrete on both sides, fence line to fence line, correct? For the most part?
on the fence, we're going to take it on the next.
So when I'm looking at a picture of this, okay, we have concrete to the fence. Okay. And then when I look at a picture of this, we have concrete to the fence.
You have a little space between the concrete and the fence.
You talking about that right by the fence? That 3 inches or whatever of
It's about
4 inches? Okay. So would the applicant have a problem since you've gone concrete basically property line to property line? What about a French drain on both sides? Because aren't you draining water onto both sides of the property?
This one,
Am I understanding these pictures
the
correctly?
concrete top.
Find the other picture.
Can I go over there?
Absolutely. You can approach. Yes, please.
If he's going to speak, point the mic toward him so that his
Absolutely.
comments can be on the record.
Sorry. Let me put my glasses. Here is about 4 inches. All of this block here is basically,
Sir, go ahead and
oh,
speak into the
sorry.
microphone.
Just speak louder.
Oh, okay. Over here is about 4 inches.
Sorry.
And the other one basically is blocks that he can remove. The
What
concrete,
is the purpose of this block? Anything?
nothing.
Nothing,
It's
right?
basically nothing.
Okay.
And the concrete slab stop here. It's not going inside.
Okay. So we've got 3 or 4 inches here,
Wherever we have to cut over here,
right?
that's gonna be 12 or 18, and we're gonna do the French drain.
Okay, good.
In this particular area, this next door is not a problem right now, but they have concrete. Basically, they don't have any French drain or nothing. All the water is coming to his
Correct.
property too. That's
Yes.
why we want to do
That's
it.
why we're here to solve problems.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna put a French drain here.
Exactly.
Okay,
This one is, no, this one is the same picture.
same picture, right?
Yeah, this one is,
Okay.
this picture is from here.
okay.
And this one is from there to the other side.
What about this?
What's under there?
No, this one is it's dirt.
This is the other side of the house.
Yeah, that's the other side.
Which we're gonna remove this, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so that
That's dirt.
little side building, that's
Dirt.
grass and dirt over there?
Yes, right now. And also underneath of the house is dirt.
Okay.
So it's an open crawl space?
It's open cross space. It's like a trailer.
Perfect.
Thank you. Any more questions? While we're thinking about that, is there anyone in the audience to speak for or against?
Madam Chair, Ms. Phillips did find a
Okay.
definitive answer to Mr. Betts's question.
Great.
The max lot coverage in this district is, for single-family homes, is 60%.
Fine.
So
I calculated 45. Thank you.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you for finding that so quickly. Okay, so it seems like there's no one in the audience to speak for or against. There are no more questions from the board.
I have one additional, the carport doesn't have gutters, correct?
No, what I,
Okay, so that'll drain onto
well,
the neighbor?
in the, what I remember, we are looking from south to north, is dirt here on the east and dirt on the north side. You know, the French trees and the going to the back.
Page 7, you can kind of see looks like maybe the back of it, there is dirt maybe 12 inches-ish.
You're talking about the top picture, right?
Top picture, yeah.
Doesn't it, the roof's pitch of the carport goes to the back, doesn't go to the side?
Okay, perfect. So it'll drain to the back of the property.
The back.
Yeah, to the back.
To the back, okay, yeah. Because that's what I see in this
Yeah.
picture.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to reframe your proposal so we're all kind of on the same page in the event that there is a motion to approve. So with regard to the deck on the east side of the property, you are going to remove the entire deck, the roof, there's siding behind that deck, and dirt underneath.
Basically, the wall on the main structure is side.
Still there, okay.
All the, it's called the dog house.
Okay.
Basically,
Okay,
It's gonna remove everything.
okay,
I mean, everything should be on dirt, grass,
Okay.
whatever it is.
okay,
I will not have any structure.
okay. On the west side of the property, where the concrete driveway is, you're going to remove the 2 rows of cinder blocks on both sides of the driveway, and on the west side of the driveway, you're going to put either gravel or a French drain or a catch, whatever feels appropriate. The carport, you're going to either remove it or bring it up to code. I don't know what that would entail, and it's not really before this board what up to code would mean, so,
Up to code basically is built by code.
yeah. I just mean, I don't know the details of that.
Is right now, as a construction or architect, is some stuff that has to be done.
Mhm.
So the wood cannot be 4 inches.
Okay,
All things like that has to be replaced, has to be colored, and some urethane straps and things like that. What we was talking is that's depending on the codes, how much it's gonna be.
right,
Because,
right.
I'm talking, and say, well, if that's cost me, let's say, $50,000.
Of course.
You know, that's the same for
Right.
me to do it.
Okay,
Prefer to take it out.
okay,
Correct.
When we go to that process, that's, you know,
okay.
basically what we spoke.
Okay, and it really, you can correct me if I'm wrong, attorneys, but it wouldn't be up to this board to allow it to stay if it didn't meet code. That's a totally different city department. We would just be talking about, if it takes up more, or the distances and things like that. So it sounds like it's not really relevant to what we're doing here, the code thing. It's just part of the proposal.
Madam Chair, you're referring to the Florida Building Code,
Correct, yeah.
which we can't grant variances
Correct,
from.
exactly.
So when you say it would be brought up to code, you're referring to the provisions of the Land Development Code relating to lot and dimensional requirements.
That's one thing. If the board say, okay, you are allowed to do it, he's willing to put it up to code, whatever he can do.
I think if we approve the variance questions with regard to the carport, I think their proposal is that, well, they would then have to bring it up to code, right? It's not in front of us, that part, so.
But although, it would be reasonable for you to condition your variance
Right, I guess that's what I'm saying
on them making corrections to the carport as necessary to comply with.
with the building code, yeah. Yes, that's a better way to say it, because I think it would make a difference to this board with regard to the variance if we knew it was going to be up to code.
Yeah.
And then finally, the fence, you're proposing to move it to the property line, or if you can get the surveyor to say that it is on the property line, you know?
No, we don't want.
Okay, okay,
He preferred.
Okay.
to move it back
Okay.
and that's it. Finish with it.
okay. I'm just trying to clarify what the proposal is. Okay.
I'm ready. if you
Okay,
want.
yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve BOA 2023-007 at 542 Foot Court for the myriad of variances as proposed and as outlined in today's application with two conditions. Number one, a French drain and gravel be installed along the west side of the driveway. Two, that all building and property that all Florida Building Code and Property Maintenance Code violations be settled appropriately with the final inspection by city staff.
Second.
Can I just clarify, you're saying the entire property or just the carport?
The entire property.
Okay, okay. And I don't know, like, if there's enough, like, how would that work? Because is there enough changes happening? Like, would the whole property apply, or are some portions, like, grandfathered in? Does that make sense, what I'm
I
asking?
mean, the Florida Building Code does differentiate between requirements for new and existing buildings.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So we're not, by putting this, you know, on here, we're not saying the whole building has to be up to code, because that's just, that wouldn't be like a requirement anyways.
Has to be up to,
Not including the house,
Okay, yeah,
because that wasn't part of this.
okay, yeah, okay,
I'm talking about the rest of the property
Okay.
too.
okay.
But, and the carport.
but that, according to statute, there's forgiveness for older homes, right? And then newer homes. So to comply with the statute
Carport was built with it,
would be appropriate,
so that would
no matter what.
brought to code.
It really
So-
doesn't matter.
Yeah, Ms. Phillips just pointed out, and in fact, I was going to ask you that question. But the carport was built without building permits. So that wouldn't, if we said nothing, for them to be able to do any work on the carport, they would need to bring it up to code regardless.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Because these changes were made by the applicant, correct? Since
Correct,
he bought the property.
correct.
So those particular pieces where there was no permit, they have to be brought up to the code.
okay.
It's
Right,
just
and
part of it.
it's part of a code enforcement case,
enforcement.
and their citation is for him to get proper permitting for that carport,
Okay.
and the only way he can get the proper building permits is to bring it to Florida Building
Okay.
Code.
So circling back to my having attempted to rephrase your condition, Madam Chair, I don't think you need to
Okay,
insert it at all.
We actually
because
don't need
they're
it.
going to have
Okay.
to comply regardless.
okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure we weren't putting something more on there by accident, so. So are you leaving that condition,
Yeah,
or are
it's fine.
you?
The way I wrote it is fine.
Okay,
I think you should just treat it as not including that condition because it's understood.
okay,
The condition relating to building code compliance.
okay.
You recommend we remove it then?
Yeah, they have to anyway.
Okay, so move that we remove that second condition.
Okay, thanks.
And is that understood by the second as well?
Yes,
Okay.
I thought it wasn't.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If we're going to take care of it, that's fine.
Mrs. Groom, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Harshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Betts?
Yes.
Mr. Connors?
Yes,
Ms. Fuller?
Yes,
Thank you very much. for
Thank
listening
you.
to us.
congratulations,
We
woo!
hope you find that the
3 months
improvements you
later.
make are improvements everybody can enjoy, including the property.
Thank you.
And your two beautiful German shepherds.
Ah, bye, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have one more case. This is a new case, so it is case A for today. Let me just find it. Mrs. Groom, if you could read case A, which is agenda item 5, into the record.
BOA 2023-014, variances from Article 4, Section 42B3 of the City of Daytona Beach Land Development Code. A request by Scott Martin for variances from Article 4, Section 42B3 for a single-family structure to decrease the minimum front setback from 25 feet to 13.5 feet, to decrease the minimum interior side property line setback from 7.5 feet to 4.6 feet, and to increase the maximum lot coverage from 35% to 39%. This will allow a 12 by 20, 240 square foot carport to be constructed on property. Property is located at 118 Milton Road, parcel ID 532204140090.
Thank you, Mrs. Groom. Do we have the applicant in the audience, which I assume is you, but I don't want to be. Come on up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Scott Martin at 118 Milton Road, Daytona.
Okay. And tell us a little about your case. And I want to say this is one of the most descriptive. It's concise, but it's, you know, your letter, your typed letter at the end, like really answered all the questions. It was very detailed, and it's one of the best that I've seen.
Oh, good.
You know,
Hope that's a good omen.
so go ahead. Just tell us kind of what you're looking here
Yeah,
to
it's
get
a
here.
house that was built in the early 50s, and for some reason, the garage is below ground level. So it's the floor of the garage is roughly 5 feet below ground level in the front, and then not quite that far in the back, since it's on a bit of a hill. And so I've got a driveway that's about 40 feet long and 17 feet wide, all slopes towards the garage, which means all the rain goes into the garage and then has to be dealt with. And, you know, a light rain, that's not a problem, but if it's an inch of rain an hour or a hurricane with 12 inches of rain an hour, that's a lot of water. So I've built a 4-foot carport in the front that keeps it within the 25-foot setback. The property line's about 29 and a half feet from the house. So I've got 4 feet that I could, I have an open permit, covered that, and the waiver is to add an additional 12 feet beyond that to cover 16 feet of the driveway to reduce the amount that's exposed to rain. And it won't stop the water, but it'll cut down by about 40% how much goes in. And then a sump pump or a French drain in front of that will hopefully stop the rest of it. So just asking for a variance to add 12 feet of carport out that won't meet the 25-foot setback, but there's an additional 15 feet of road in front of the house between the paved road and the property line. So in some sense, it'll still be over 25 feet from the road, even though it's not the property line.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good explanation because the numbers weren't adding up, and so I'm glad you included that. And it looks like it's just going to be the same type of a structure as that 4 feet you have there
Yes,
now.
just a flat roof,
Okay.
basically 20-foot long 2x8 trusses, and then plywood and sealer on top of it.
Okay.
So it's not very visible to the road or from the sides. Then I'll put some bushes along the side to hide it a bit more, so it'll be barely noticeable.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any questions from the board?
So I see you have a couple small cars that fit under there, but the truck obviously probably would not fit.
Correct.
Yeah. And the trailer is not always there?
No, that was only there for that picture, I guess.
Yeah.
They must have. But I
It
have
looks like the
storage for
parking
that.
happens in the front yard often, though. Is that true? Do you park in the front yard often, or?
Sometimes, just with the truck, just to the cars out.
Yeah,
But the trailer has a storage.
yeah.
Parks
okay.
at.
Is the garage still a garage?
Yes. Yeah, it's about 20 foot deep inside of paved, and then in front of it, it has some dirt area.
Okay.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Inside the garage, it's cement slab for about 20 feet in, side to side, and then further in from there, there's an area of probably 10 feet that's dirt, 10 foot deep and maybe 16 feet wide.
So is that where the current runoff ends up going?
Yes. And I've dug it down a little bit lower so it all goes there. And then I have a sump pump to get it out. But it still gets the garage floor all wet.
Right, but you're going to leave that as dirt?
At this point, I may pave part of it just so it's more usable. Right now, it's the 12-inch paver blocks I have in there for most of it, except for the low spot where the pump is, just to make it more usable.
Thank you.
Have you thought that, I live on Hickory, not too far from you, and the neighbor across the street has the same problem, same type of driveway, floods all the time. Have you thought about putting a sump pump in before you get to the garage? They have a sump pump before you get to the garage. They've built up a little bit of a kind of a berm at the top of the driveway, and then instead of, because what you're saying is that water regularly just runs through your garage area?
Yes, yeah, any time it rains, that there's
How
a
exciting.
high spot on the driveway, so the water from the road doesn't run in, just whatever
Okay.
falls on the driveway
Okay.
runs down.
And then where are you going to run the water that's now on your flat roof? Where's it going to run off to?
It'll go off to the sides,
Okay.
and then it has ground there, grass on the one side and like a gravel on the other side that it'll absorb in.
So you're going to put a gutter system in sort of and kind of get it run off to the side?
Yeah, I think I'll put gutters on it just to help direct it, keep it from going back into the house.
Right. Okay. All right.
If we would move to approve with the idea of the gutters being part of it, would that be something you'd be willing to accept?
Yeah, definitely. I was planning on doing that, I just haven't figured out where to get the water to, but yeah, definitely put a gutter on both sides.
Okay.
Is the gutter thing, is that something that the building department would require?
It wouldn't be required.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
Certainly is a unique situation. There are several, like you said, houses in a similar situation
I don't know why they do it. but
out there.
They did
and
it.
you know,
This one seemed, this one was like the
Same thing across
worst.
the neighbor across the street. I'm like, why in the world did they dig this? Like,
That was long before I think any of us were born, it was built.
it was,
so-
yes. Yeah, it was.
Well, I think it's a good plan to handle his situation without doing a lot of other work with the driveway, and which could be done, like you said, install a sump earlier or down at the
Yeah,
bottom. or
that's what the neighbor on our side did. They have a sump pump on the east side of the driveway at the bottom, and then it pumps water out before it ever makes it to the garage. The only mistake they made was the reason they get so much water is the street, when it gets too much rain, starts to overflow on the street. So all it's doing is pumping the water back
Going in
onto the street,
circles.
which then it just kind of, and I've told them that they should be running it off to the back of their property, but they haven't done it yet. And it's flooded, I think, 5 times since I've lived there. The whole garage is just flooded out, drywall and everything, so.
And plus, the applicant said in here, it's not going to be used and decked and used for space like a deck.
Right.
It's going to just be for cover of the,
Right, but the
driveway.
the idea of it's now taking water where he doesn't want it, which I understand, and not, on one side of it is going on to his property, current property, the other side of it is going on to
It's
his
close,
neighbor's
yeah.
property.
And the neighbor's property on that side is higher than mine. So it won't run into her yard, it'll
towards him.
run. I've put a little bit of dirt against the wall, so it kind of flows away from my wall, but it still stays on my property and would run out towards the road. But the gutter would help me, I'll drive that directly down there.
Do you find a lot of the neighbor's water runs onto your property?
Not anymore, but when I bought it, it
It did
resembled
significantly?
Niagara Falls.
Okay,
Because that wall on that side used to be lower than her front yard.
okay,
So all that water in her yard would run into the driveway.
okay, and then down into your,
Right, so that's been resolved by making the wall taller.
okay,
Okay.
And then so now as it comes, still comes towards my property, but then it gets directed towards the road that way. Kind of almost a gradual V-type gully there between the wall and her yard.
Yeah, I think your challenge is going to be, is, okay, all the water that lands on the roof now has to go somewhere. If you get it too close to the driveway, it's going to turn around and go right back down the driveway again.
Right.
There's a
That's
challenge.
I've got it built up, so as it comes down, it'll hit the road without going into the driveway. But I may need to make that more, because it's just kind of a dirt berm there now. So I may have to
Right.
put some blocks there to keep the heavy rain from just washing the dirt away.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't have any issues with the, makes sense to me.
Is there anyone in the audience to speak for or against this?
Obviously not.
Well, I feel like we have to ask because like, I don't know if the cameras see it. There could be somebody out in the room going once, going twice. Any more questions from the board, or do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve case A as applied.
Did you want to add the stipulation for the gutters or no?
I would like to add the stipulation for the gutters. I make a motion, we approve case A with a gutter compliant on the carport to funnel some of that water away.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mrs. Groom, could you please poll the board?
Mr. Betts?
Yes.
Mr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. Harshaw?
Yes,
Chairman Bowler?
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
making-
Good luck.
Continue making improvements to your home.
Yeah.
All right,
Done a great job. Thank you.
I'm hoping to get this done before the next hurricanes.
That's right. Yeah.
Hurry, hurry.
Or the storm that'll be here this afternoon.
Right.
Like last night. Cool.
Right?
I know,
That was
last night was a little tough.
crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
Bye. Mrs. Groom, could we have a review of the cases, please?
Continued case C was approved 4-0, and case A on today's agenda was approved 4-0.
Great. Do we have any new business to announce?
We need to talk about the meeting time, but we said we would do that next month when everyone's
Correct.
here.
Okay. Did you have something, Mr. Gross?
I'm not contagious.
You know, I was thinking, I didn't know if that was like a really cool Lauren McCall smoker cough or what that was, yeah. Yeah.
It's like late.
Exactly.
So tell us about your trip.
No, not during a public meeting. Oh. Went to London.
I'm
went to
sorry, I
Paris,
thought we
went
were
to
done.
Amsterdam, and
The next-
had a lot of fun.
Meeting's on the 20th.
Yes. July
Should be here.
20th
20th.
at 2:30.
Anybody anticipate not being here?
I think I'm going to be here
Okay.
at this time, so we've been pretty good meeting a quorum lately, so that change we made definitely helped as well. So if there's no new business, then we will,
Is there somebody else that we need to add, or do we have a full board at this point?
There is actually, it's Mr. Betts' reappointment is on the agenda for next meeting. It's not an additional member, so I think that's right. I was going to say, I
I
think
was
there's another
originally a
board member.
temporary, I think.
Yeah,
you
we're
were,
still missing
okay.
members for 2 and 6.
okay.
So we
still
still
have
don't, we
open-
still don't have a full board.
No,
Wow.
we still have open spaces for zones 2 and 6.
Okay.
2 and, yeah, right?
I'm alternative.
Should we put an ad on Indeed.com or?
I have asked, they've posted it. We had signs in our lobby. Nobody
Because there's
was
two
interested.
at large, okay.
It's probably the paycheck.
It's-
I think it's the pay.
It's not the coworker.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Definitely not
Of
that.
course not. All right.
Okay, well, are you going to continue with us?
I'm happy to.
Okay,
If you
great.
want me to.
Yes, I
I
think,
haven't created such
I think,
No, you've been great. You've
I
been
think
good.
we really
Nice
like
addition.
your addition, yeah, and your questions and comments are always right on point. Anything else? Nope. Okay, well, we will adjourn the meeting at 3:22 or whatever time Mrs. Groom says the time should be. Apple's not always right about everything.
Slam that gavel. Nice.